The SPARK program, SPARK isn't an acronym. It has to do with that spark in the relationship first, and just that spark of creativity that seems to happen when you explore the possibilities with creating art in ways that maybe aren't so traditional. And so it started a couple of years ago over at Micah Peak with a student from the School to Life program that came into Micah Peak, into my classroom. Carrie Ames asked if I'd be willing to take Jonathan Fink into the room to do some art. And Jonathan came in on literally his 19th birthday, and he's nonverbal, but he communicates, a lot of different ways. He kind of presents like a percussionist, and so it took a little while for us to get to know each other and then to kind of see what he can do. I mean, a lot of times it's really obvious that he can't speak English, he can't write his name, things like that. So what he can do is percussion. So we built some opportunity for him to create art using his hands, kind of like a drummer would. So he drummed in paint and strummed in paint. And it started with that, and there was just kind of this beautiful gravity from the students that were in Micah Peak, kind of getting to know Jonathan while he was in the room creating art, and they said, hey, we want to work with him, and that's kind of where it blossomed out of. In the SPARK program, I'm not trying to get the students to do it my way, and they're never selling, their way to me either. It's just kind of like, how do we click? How do we connect? How does that spark happen? And then you just maximize that, and the relationships just kind of take care of themselves. And so it's less scary than people think it is, and brokering those relationships is less difficult. It's actually, it's kind of like bonding with another person on any level. So art to me is a universal language, right? So you could be sightless and be able to feel and explore your environment. You could create things that are sculptural, textural with your hands. You could draw a picture and it would communicate to anybody who could see. So if you're sight dependent, you can see what it is. It's going to communicate to you, and there's no way to get that wrong. So for working with a population of people whose mode of communication is very different, it's not like they've assimilated into the English language speaking population, right? But they still communicate, they still exist. They have amazing empathy and willingness to try things. It just looks and feels a little bit different than people that are doing it in English. So art's a perfect little fit for exploring and communicating when you're not communicating in English or in a verbal way. When I talked to the principal, Franson, and Principal DeArmond extensively before I came from Micah Peak here about how important it was to continue developing and growing and expanding the notion of integration with dignity between people with abilities and people with disabilities. And they leaned into it. They said, we want that here. We have an enormous sphere of influence. We have a large population of people with disabilities that are coming through the school, and we want to make sure that they have areas to shine. And so we're going to be rolling out the first SPARK program at University High School next semester, so second semester. I think it's going to be 6th period. We're kind of finessing the schedule and things like that, and it's going to be a chance for people to say, hey, I want to do this because I want to participate in something that's very unique, that's creative, that's working together with people and building relationships in the school that I know U High supports that kind of a family atmosphere. It can be people in the gen ed population that are coming in to get their high school credits. It can be people in the special ed population that are coming in to get their high school credits. And so it's something that people can elect to do, or if, it doesn't matter if you're an artist or you're just a person that feels like, it feels like I want to try this. You might have a sibling that has a disability or an autism or a family member, something like that, and you might say, hey, I think this is going to be something that I can do with some of the students who might be interested in doing this. And then the teachers that are registering the students for their classes, their TAP teachers or the counselors, you can talk to them. And certainly I'll give people information about what really the scope and sequence of what it's going to look like. We do different kinds of trainings to begin with. We do studio time and space to create things together, and then we imagine the possibilities of where it would fit in the larger community to showcase the evidence of what we've done here in the smaller community. And so there's those layers.